Hello again, this is your host Dave Welch, and welcome to Let's Visit. Today we're going to visit a very interesting country. We're going to Iceland. Iceland is a huge island in the North Atlantic Ocean, just touching on the Arctic Circle. So stay with us, we should have a great time on this adventure. Iceland is located north and east of New England, about halfway across the Atlantic Ocean to Europe. It is an island about the size of Kentucky, and its northern regions touch on the Arctic Circle. Iceland's capital city of Reykjavik is very small for a capital city, but I think it's in its smallness that lies its charm. It is a pollution-free city with good clean air and water. So let's start our travel adventure here and discover Reykjavik before moving on to the rest of Iceland. The name Reykjavik in the Icelandic language means Bay of Smoke, for the steam rising from the many thermal springs under the city. The city is surrounded by mountains and boasts of a fabulous harbor, which houses a large fishing fleet. Cod fishing is Iceland's chief industry. The total population of the country is only 269,000 people, and 100,000 of them live here in Reykjavik. 75% of Iceland's export earnings are from the fishing industry. Whether you arrive here by plane, cruise ship, or submarine, Reykjavik is a great city to visit. And like Gloucester, Massachusetts, Reykjavik too has its fisherman's statue facing the harbor. And what to buy in Iceland? Well, my guess would be the fantastic handmade sweaters made from the very thick wool of the Icelandic sheep. As far as haute cuisine, why not try this domed restaurant built atop 5 huge hot water tanks overlooking the city? The restaurant even has its own geyser. Atop a hill in the center of Reykjavik is Halms Church. Its tower dominates the city and can be seen from just about anywhere. The architecture of this building is stark Scandinavian minimalist, with blonde wood and light metal and stone. The church boasts of a 25-ton organ and offers concerts several times a day. Let's spend a few minutes here. Downtown Reykjavik is a very busy and colorful place. The buildings are painted in many shades of pastels. This makes the long, dark winters a bit more cheerful. Since the whole city is heated by underground thermal vents, steam can be heard exiting from many pressure valves located around the city. I found the Icelandic language impossible to comprehend. Besides many accent marks, they even have 2 more letters than we do in their alphabet. I did observe, however, that the longer the street name, the shorter the street.
Now, what's your name, sir?
My name is Helgi.
And how long have you been carving these beautiful things?
I don't know exactly. I was very young when I started in the first place. I think about 11 or 12 years, you know. Then I slide down and get some other work. And I start again when I'm getting older. But I have been doing it for the last 6-8 years. Nothing else.
Wonderful. I love your dogs. I think they're beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Although the architecture of Reykjavik is somewhat eclectic, you will notice that the houses are not made of wood as in other Scandinavian countries. They have no wood in Iceland, as we'll see later in the program. For our first trip out of the capital city, we're going to rent a plane and fly up the coast to Snæfells's Jökulá, the majestic glacier which formed the setting for the beginning of Jules Verne's epic novel, Journey to the Center of the Earth. Once out of Reykjavik, the pilot handed me the controls, and I flew the plane for about an hour up the coast, even flying low over some extinct volcanoes.
Icelandic weather, yes.
That's it.
Button press?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
It's a very, very interesting situation.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we arrived at the base camp, we met up with some Italian tourists who had been waiting for us and boarded the snowcat for the ride up the glacier.
Buona fortuna!
Somehow it's hard to fathom that in the middle of August, I would be freezing in the sleet and rain, climbing a glacier festooned with deep chasms. When we reached the top, though, we had a magnificent snowball fight. Well, it's a new day. The sun is shining, and we're crossing the lava fields en route to the Blue Lagoon. That's not an industrial complex up ahead. It's a facility where extremely hot water from deep down in the volcanic earth is pumped to the surface, then redistributed to heat the homes and hot water systems of Iceland. The Blue Lagoon is a man-made hot water pool. The bottom of the pool contains a layer of silicium deposits, thus allowing the water above it to reflect the blue sky. Although it's a cold experience to walk out to the water in a bathing suit, once in the bathtub-like water, it's heaven. The Blue Lagoon is a place where all of your senses are stimulated simultaneously. Visually, you encounter a soft, blue, gentle lagoon surrounded by harsh, sharp, foreboding lava rock. Orally, you are attacked by the gushing of escaping steam and the ubiquitous Icelandic wind. Your olfactory senses are piqued by the many chemicals leaching out of the very hot water. But what a marvelous place to go for a midsummer swim, even if the air temperature is in the 40s. You girls went into the water. How was it?
Great. Yeah, really great.
Real great? Was it cold or hot?
Hot.
Very hot.
Yeah.
How long did you stay there?
About 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
And where are you from?
Sweden.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Part of the Blue Lagoon is reserved for a special medical clinic. So this is a clinic.
This is an outpatient clinic for people with psoriasis and eczema, and they come here for a treatment. That's bathing in the Blue Lagoon and have then UVB light treatment as well. And you can take a look around and see what's here.
Let's go.
Okay,
Okay. Okay.
this is like and this is a special clinic for this dermatic treatment.
Okay, for skin.
Yeah.
It's a very effective treatment.
Yes, it has been given people a good result.
Thank you very much. What's your name?
My name is Solveig Grens.
Thank you. Tack.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And how do Icelanders produce fresh fruit and vegetables? Why, in greenhouses, heated by steam from deep in the volcanic earth. Let's take a look at old Iceland as presented in this reconstructed village. Guess what? It's time to climb another volcano. This one is on the island of Heimaey, off the south coast of Iceland. Eldfell Volcano was formed in January 1973, and it put on a spectacular show for the world to see.
This island, Heimaey, or the home island, became bigger, about 2.2 square kilometers here, after this eruption 1973. And they say this area here is pretty active because the volcano Hekla, over there, and this island Heimaey, and the new island in the south, Surtsey, they are all lying on the same bridge. And they're supposed to be an eruption here every 10 years. And that's almost correct because in the year of 1948 there was a big eruption in Hekla. Then again 63 to 67 in the island Surtsey. Then it was here in 1973. And then again in Hekla 1981 and 1991. And now we have 1998. But we don't know where and when. But it would be nice to get a new island here between us and the mainland. And all those houses who were buried under the lava, they are down here, in this area.
To show us how hot the Earth still is just under the surface of the volcano, our guide moved a couple of rocks and let us feel the heat they contained. The nearby town has installed pipes into the mountain, and by running seawater through them is able to extract enough energy to heat the town and even send some of it to the mainland. At about 1 in the morning, on January 22nd, 1973, the 5,000 residents of the town of Vestmannaeyjar were awakened to a violent volcanic eruption. Since the fishing fleet was tied up at the docks, the entire population was successfully evacuated to the mainland. The town's fire marshal took these fantastic photos. As you can see in my video footage, the lava just reached the town. Fire officials commandeered 43 huge pumps and sprayed seawater on the moving lava to solidify it. This action formed a sort of dam, which then held back the subsequent lava from entering Vestmannaeyjar. This was probably the first time in history that humans were able to control a volcano's devastation. How about a boat trip around the island of Heimaey? Accompanied by some blue-eyed and very blonde Icelanders, we'll wait for the ferry to arrive from the mainland and then visit the very huge cave in Heimaey's harbor.
Da tritt unser Kapitän auf, sagt nach Boot spielen. Ich werde Ihnen empfehlen, hinaufzugehen und auf ihm zuhören. Aber es tropft ein bisschen da drinnen. Aber was da runterkommt, ist nur Fischwasser.
The boat's captain was kind enough to give us a rendition of Amazing Grace on his saxophone to show the amazing acoustics of the cave. The volcanic cliffs around the island are spectacular. They also serve as huge rookeries for the bird population of the island. It's here that the Arctic puffin makes its home. Many of the famous small yet rugged Icelandic horses are bred here on Heimaey Island. Well, you all certainly know what a geyser is. But did you know where the word came from? It's from here at Geysir in Iceland. This is truly one of the most impressive places in the world to visit. This is home of the famous Thingrur geyser, which explodes 60 feet in the air with great force every few minutes. As cold surface water drains into the entrance of the geyser, it is quickly heated by the hot rocks below. Then steam builds up. The water comes to a boil and is forced up through the relatively small mouth of the geyser. This creates a huge blast of steam. It is truly a sight to behold. The air here is pungent from the many gases leaching into the atmosphere. In 1874, King Christian IX of Denmark sat on a rock to watch this great spectacle. The locals have named the rock Königsvir, or the King's Stone. They actually tried to impress him further by boiling eggs in one of the hot bubbling pools. This whole area is a geothermal wonderland. It has sulfurous pools and steaming vents. I could actually hear the earth breathing from the many fissures under my feet. Here, the earth is not the quiet, safe friend I was used to, but rather an angry, almost demonic monster which hissed and groaned to show its power. We have moved up to the center of the country now to the second largest glacier of Iceland, the huge Langjörkul Glacier. There it is looming up behind these mountains. I guess that can give you a sense of the size of this glacier. And what do glaciers do in the summertime? That's right, they melt. And where does all that water go? That's right, into a magnificent waterfall named Gullfoss, the Golden Waterfall. The water cascades down 95 feet and is swept into a narrow gorge which causes thunderous noise and drenching spray. This whole area was once owned by a farmer, Thomas Thomasson, and when foreign investors pressured him and his daughter to sell them the area to build a huge power station, father and daughter went to the Icelandic parliament. Thomas's daughter even threatened to throw herself into the falls if their beauty were compromised. And so Iceland bought the area and forever saved these beautiful falls. Time for another excursion. This time we'll visit Iceland's most sacred and historical site, a national shrine called Thingrur. It was here in the year 930 AD that the world's oldest existing parliament, the Althing, met to enact laws for Iceland. But Thingvellir offers another attraction to the visitor. The MidAtlantic Fault, which for most of its length is buried in the sea, actually surfaces here, pushing up massive cliffs on both sides of the rift. It is possible then to walk down one side of the rift, the European plate, cross over to the other, the North American plate, and literally be standing between two continents. And just before I leave you, take a look at Gullfoss waterfall. Legend has it that there's a chest of gold buried under it. What do you think?
Well, that does it from Iceland, land of the midnight sun. It's not quite midnight now, it's only 11:15 p.m., but it's August, late August, and the sun begins to go down much earlier. Well, until we see you the next time on Let's Visit, this is Dave Welsh saying au revoir.